Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Thank you for joining us here today for an important announcement regarding public safety in the Department of Public Safety. But before we begin, I want to speak to the Jewish and the Muslim community. More than 2,000 Israelis and Palestinians have been killed following a surprise, horrific attack on Israel this weekend by a terrorist group, Hamas, with dozens kidnapped and still held in Gaza. Attacks on innocent civilians cannot and must not be justified. Full stop. This kind of violence heals no wounds, and my heart is with the St. Louisans whose families and loved ones have been caught up in this latest conflict. I've had the privilege of visiting both Israel and Palestine, and I understand firsthand that finding a lasting peace that protects lives and civil liberties is complex. As mayor, I want all of our residents to be safe here. To our Jewish and Muslim residents, I want you to know that I see you. I want you to feel safe and welcome here. And I'll do everything in my power to make that a reality. St. Louis should come together to stamp out both anti-Semitic and anti-Islamophobic hatred wherever we find it, making sure the people of our region understand that no matter how you worship or any identity you hold, you are welcome here. And now, on to today's announcement. Earlier this week, I stopped by the swearing in of new city employees in the rotunda downstairs. I met unhoused outreach workers, utility workers, and new and returning 911 dispatchers. I talked to one of the returning dispatchers who had lived in a few different cities since she left the job. She said she enjoyed being a dispatcher and loved helping people, so she reapplied. And I'm sure the pay raises didn't hurt either. As we work to staff up critical positions in city government and recover from the COVID-19 pandemic, it's heartening to meet new hires like our dispatchers who have answered the call to serve. Today, I have the privilege of celebrating one such individual who has devoted his life to public service. In January, we launched a nationwide search for a new public safety director, but my ultimate choice was far closer to home. After serving diligently as interim for the past several months, I am appointing Chief Charles Coyle as Public Safety Director of the City of St. Louis. That should, some applause. St. Louis cannot be afraid to learn new lessons from our peers. At the same time, we need experts who are intimately familiar with the issues facing our city to implement solutions. Chief Coyle has spent his entire professional life working to keep St. Louisans safe, and he understands how to navigate systems while also recognizing what levers to pull to make change happen. This knowledge is especially visible in his drive to modernize and improve St. Louis's 911 service. In 2021, I toured one of our 3 dispatch centers to see up close the important work that dispatchers do and the challenges that they face. Since then, we have worked every day to bring much needed change, and Chief Coyle has accelerated our progress and given it new focus. Developing a 3-phase plan, hiring, training and technology, and consolidation, Chief Coyle has put 911 on a roadmap to improvement. Under his leadership, our public safety divisions have hired more than 20 dispatchers since August of this year. He's taken a similar approach at the excise division, finding new ways to collaborate between departments to help clear a long-standing, frustrating backlog. And this kind of work, cutting through the red tape, it isn't sexy or glamorous, but it's the work that delivers results for St. Louis families and businesses. I'm excited to continue working with Chief Coyle as he steps into this role permanently. And now I'd like to turn it over to Chief Charles Coyle, our new Director of Public Safety.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Listen, thank you guys for being here today. This is special to me. Thank Mayor Jones for her confidence in me. I come to this job literally with my adult life being in public safety. I know public safety. That's all I've done. And as a newly appointed Director of Public Safety for the City of St. Louis, I stand before you today deeply humbled, honored, and profoundly aware of the responsibility this position entails. My journey has been paved with 45 years of delivered service within the St. Louis Fire Department. Every day spent in the line of duty has only fostered my passion for safeguarding our communities. The commitment I carry forward to this new role. Throughout my tenure in the fire service, I have witnessed firsthand the intrinsic power of collaboration, unity, and purpose. The Department of Public Safety is a testament to this collaborative spirit. Its collective strength of the St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department, the St. Louis Fire Department, the St. Louis Department of Correction, Civilian Oversight, Neighborhood Stabilization, Excise, Building Division, as well as the Office of Violence Prevention, including SEMA, our City Emergency Management Agency. I began as Interim Director of Public Safety on February 13th, earlier this year, and I wanted to share with you some of the accomplishments that we've been able to complete. And I'm going to begin with 911, and the reason for that, because that truly is my passion. To me, 911 dispatchers are first responders. They are the beginning of rescues, life safety, protection of property. We can't get where we're going for emergency responders without dispatchers. It is important. They work at the beginning of the emergency, throughout the emergency, and they close the emergency out. They are truly first responders, and I am happy that we're moving forward with it. I have to thank the mayor again for working through the pay increases. That's a big thing with dispatchers. And one of the #1 issues across the country with them. So achieving that and making us competitive within the region with other dispatch centers is key to our success in this. Now, we have not gotten there yet. We still have work to do. We're in a full court press when it comes to 911. We're meeting weekly. We're taking the pulse of what's taking place with interviews, hiring, and training. When we began this process, we were 50 dispatchers short. As of February 13th and July 1st. Since the pay increases, we have hired 26 dispatchers that are in training. Now, as you're aware, or you may be aware, that we can only hire 10 dispatchers at a time in police dispatch and 5 at a time in EMS dispatch. So this is going to take some time. So I ask you to be patient. There takes training to be a dispatcher. You first can become a call taker. And the reason this is important, and I share this with you, because I anticipate 4 to 5 weeks after they're out of training that we should see our numbers begin to improve. Our numbers improving from how long it takes to answer a 911 call. So do we get that percentage of 0 to 10 seconds to improve on a weekly or monthly basis? And that's what we'll be following with the introduction of new dispatchers. New police dispatchers will become call takers first. That means when you call 911, those are the people that will answer the phone, and then direct your call to either the police department, fire department, or EMS. Now, with the police dispatcher, I want you to understand as well that it takes about 8 months for that dispatcher to be trained where they can work on their own. And that's important to know because we are going to have a process that takes us a little time. EMS dispatch is a little bit different. They can probably start working on their own within 5 months. Okay? So we're improving the dispatch. Again, it's extremely important to me because that's where my passion lies. As with first responders, with emergency service, that's all I've done my adult life is public safety. So when I was introduced to this, it was a perfect transition for me because I'm doing what I'm used to doing. Okay? When I talk about the police department, we will continue with our data-driven and community policing. The numbers are coming down. We're not there yet. We still have crime in the city. But we're working toward reducing those little by little as we can. One of the other departments we have is the Office of Violence Prevention. This office is the first of its kind. I want to thank the mayor for instituting this office. This office gives a different pathway to kids that are going in the wrong direction. It gives a pathway to show them there's a different direction that they can go, that they can improve themselves, and we've never had that before. Communities have been left on their own without someone to help direct the young people in many of these communities. And we know where they end up when they don't have that guidance. So the Office of Violence Prevention is doing critical work, important work, that I think in the long run will help us reduce the crime in our city. One of the other departments that I'm going to talk about is corrections. It's been in the news. Our corrections area, when I say this, let me begin by telling you who occupies our CJC, our City Justice Center. You guys have reported on the violent crimes that happen in this city. Horrendous crimes you've reported on. And our police department has listed a 75% clearance rate for homicides. That's 3 out of 4. So where do they go? They go to the Justice Center. We know that some of them are dangerous. They have been charged but not convicted. This is a pre-trial facility. However, we know we have dangerous people in there, but they still must be treated humanely. We still may treat them with dignity as we have them. We have other opportunities as well. Many of these detainees who may have mental health conditions, we now have an opportunity to help address those that have gone unaddressed for most of their lives probably. We recognize that health conditions, poor health conditions, are affected as well. And when they come to the Justice Center, they have probably not had the help, advice, and service that maybe they should have. We have an opportunity to correct that and do better by the people that we have in our Justice Center. Now, one of the initiatives that has taken place, I just signed last week or the week before, transfer funds to bring in 11 medical professionals that will be placed in the health department. That will help us guide through the medical issues that many of our detainees may have. Now, it doesn't replace our third-party medical center, that company that will be there, but it will help us evaluate what's going on. Evaluate if the person really needs a different type of service and know what's happening medically. Our commissioner is not a medical person, doesn't know. So we're going to bring in the appropriate people that we think can do this. Next, in the Justice Center, we have introduced or upgraded the phone tablets, making it where detainees can contact their family members. We have started a pilot program. Before we complete it, we want to know how it works. And thirdly, I want to make sure that, and you guys are aware of this, I'm sure, we have spent over $18 million on safety initiatives in the Justice Center for not only the detainees, but the staff as well. So I wanted to make sure I gave you that. Another department in public safety is the oversight department. When I came on board in February of this year, one of the things I realized is that our oversight operation was not in line with the city ordinance. This is a law that the Board of Aldermen has put together that says how they should work. Now, I'll say this, I'm a lifelong St. Louisan. Oversight's important to me. And if it's not done by the letter of the law, I think we risk the whole concept of oversight. So I have brought on the commissioner of CJC, Nicole Barton, to help with this. You know, we lost our commissioner in May, resigned. So I brought on Ms. Barton, who was the first COB commissioner who put together the very first COB group committee here in St. Louis to help get through the requirements of the ordinance, the orientation training, the consultation with rules and regulations. These things are required and we have to get them done. And we have been working since June. Now, the committee had almost a year to do these things and they weren't getting done. So when we made the changes within, 5 or 6 months, we are over 75 to 80% complete on the orientation training. We're at the last stage of their consultation for their rules and regulation. What that means is the consultation is with stakeholders. There are key people that have to be a part of this. The city councilor's office, the commissioner of corrections, the director of personnel, as well as the circuit attorney. So we have to make sure they're involved with the rules and regulations before we actually begin to operate. So that practice is going on now in civilian oversight, trying to help them get in a position where they can work. The work is needed, and I look forward to it. Next is excise. I think the mayor mentioned a little bit about this. We had a backlog of excise work, and when I talked about collaboration, this is one of those areas where we saw it. I was able to bring people to assist from other departments. We cleared out the backlog, and what I mean by excise, if some of you don't know, is the office that issues a license for liquor establishments. So we were able to clear that up within 30 to 45 days by collaborating with other departments within public safety. So now they are actually working on cases as they come through the door. When you submit an application, your application is being worked on immediately. Now, why this is important? Because you had business people losing money, taking long periods of time to get a review done, all right? So we have, we're moving forward to kind of beef up their staff, keep bringing in staff that we know we can retain, and that work will continue, actually bring in part-time workers as well. The third thing, the next thing is the building division. You guys are familiar with the building division. The only program that I'm going to bring up is the Stable Communities STL. And why I think this is important, because I think it deals directly with crime prevention, and the Department of Public Safety. This is a program where we are trying to stop the decay of homes in our community. When I say trying to stop the decay, when there's a bad roof and it's not repaired, the weather takes over the building. It eats up the brick mortar. So putting a new roof on a building, securing the building, and these things are going to be done at the owner's expense, because many of our vacant buildings have owners outside of the city. But we want to stop the decay of our buildings in the city of St. Louis, our inventory. Secondly, I think that the demolition that works with public safety as well. We believe that crime is done based on places. And we know that derelict buildings is one of those things that may invite crime. So this is a holistic approach. We have to work from different perspectives in getting the job done. The next department that I have is our Neighborhood Stabilization Office. And I would say to you, this is one of the key officers that we have. These are the people that are in contact with our community on a daily basis. These are the people that are having conversations with our community about crimes, about other issues that they're having problems with in the community. We want to utilize them. They're important to public safety. But when we tie their efforts in with the data we get from the police department, with the data we have with the building division, that is where we can make a difference. As you guys, I know, are aware, we have some neighborhoods that may witness a crime and are afraid to say something. And if you're afraid to say something, it may mean that you may not get the services or the resources in your block, your community, and in your neighborhood. So neighborhood stabilization has been recording some of this information that they're able to get from residents. They may tell them about a crime, not who did it, but that it happened. Once we can record this information and share this information, we can apply resources to that area if that area is conducive to crime to help stop it. So it is an important department as well. Every department of public safety is important, and every department works well. My job is to make sure they work in a collaborative way in getting the job done. The last department I will talk about is the City Emergency Management Agency. And where they're important is that when we have disasters that happen in our city, when we have floods, we have hurricanes, or anything else, the City Emergency Management Office is the office that kind of gets involved to make sure the other city departments are working together, where we can streamline our efforts. You guys, if you've been around, have seen them work. Back from the '93 floods of St. Louis on up to the recent floods that we've had in the city, the power outages that we've had. The Office of City Emergency Management is critical in those departments, when those things take place, I should say. We just recently began operating for a tabletop by the Missouri National Guard that's going to be held here next year. An important exercise so people get accustomed to what to do during an emergency and how it works.